Okay, so what are we going to be diving into today? Today, we are going to be talking about how to rewire your mind for success. Okay, how to rewire your mind for growth in hours, not years, even if you've tried mindset work before and it hasn't necessarily worked to your liking. Okay, so everyone who's here right now, I'm assuming you're here to learn how to rewire your mind. Is that right? Just want to make sure you're in the right place. Okay. Okay, cool. So here's what I want to start off with. The first thing I want to mention to you all is that most of the mindset and really the self-development space that's out there is very surface level. Very surface level. Does anyone here garden? Is anyone here an avid gardener? I'm not. I bought Marissa, my wife, orchid a few weeks ago instead of roses because I was like, oh, these last way longer than roses, right? At least they're supposed to. And I think they lasted less than the roses I typically give her. I'm like, what is going on here? And I followed all the directions. Well, Marissa followed all the directions and it still didn't last long. Yeah, can't keep plants alive. I'm with you. Okay, so some of you do. I think all of you will understand this analogy though. Okay. So in a garden, let's say you have a garden and let's say that you've got weeds that are taking over your garden, right? So you've got weeds growing in your garden. Most of the stuff that's out there right now is like taking a pair of kid scissors and going to the garden of your mind and cutting the weeds where the stem meets the soil. What's going to happen when you cut the weeds where the stem meets the soil? The weeds are going to continue to grow. They're going to grow back even stronger, and they're going to take over your garden. Okay. So what I'm going to share with you today is like going to the garden of your mind and pulling the weeds out from the deepest root so that it never comes back. Because when you extract the weed from the root, it's gone. It's not coming back. Okay. So this is what we're going to discuss today and how you can begin to rewire your mind for long-lasting success. Cool? Does that sound pretty awesome? All right. So here's what you're going to walk away with today. Number one, I'm going to break down how to rewire your mind in hours, not years, even if mindset work has failed you before. I'm going to break down and show you why you're not broken. You're likely just misaligned, and I'm going to show you how to fix it. And then we're going to dive into a simple framework that finally helps you use the strategies that you already have. Because here's the thing. Most of you, if not all of you here, already know what you should be doing. How many of you in the area of life that you're looking to work on, whether it's career, business, maybe relationships, or any of the other ones, already know what you should be doing? Give me a one in the chat if you have an idea of what you should be working on, right? And how many of you know what you should be doing and you still don't do it? Give me a two in the chat if that's you, and I'll raise my hand up there with you. Okay, for a while, I was that person. And so why is it? Why does that happen? You know what to do, you don't do it. It's because there's something deeper going on, and that's what we're going to uncover here. Okay? So who is this for? This is for entrepreneurs and small business owners who feel stuck despite working hard. If you're not an entrepreneur or a business owner and you don't aspire to be, and you're here, it's likely because you are wanting to perform at a higher level. You're wanting more for your life. This is for you too, okay? This is for those people who are ready to overcome fear, imposter syndrome, and decision paralysis to unlock their next level of success. This is for people who are seeking clarity, confidence, and momentum to grow their business or grow in their careers without sacrificing their time, their health, or their peace of mind. How many of you don't want to sacrifice your peace of mind any longer? You want to be in a position where you feel confident, where you feel clear and congruent with who you are and where you're going. Yes? This is for you. This is for people who understand that the internal mindset shifts are just as important, if not more important, as the strategies, and are ready to take control of their success once and for all. So is this you? Give me a big old yes in the chat if it is. Okay. Now, who is this not for? Who is this not for? This is not for people who are looking for quick hacks, overnight success, or shortcuts without doing the inner work. This is not for business owners who aren't open to self-reflection or believe that more strategies alone will fix everything. This is not for people who are unwilling to take responsibility for their actions, for their growth, and their mindset. Life becomes better when you become better. And a part of that process is taking ownership for what you know you need to do. And with that, taking care of what's underneath the surface, okay? So that you can be aligned at all levels. And doing what you know you need to do becomes a lot easier, right? And then this is also for entrepreneurs who are, or not for entrepreneurs who are satisfied with their current results and are not looking to scale and grow. It's pretty obvious. If you are happy with where you're at right now and you don't want change or something better, then no need to be here. That's really it. Okay, cool. So I have a question for you all. What does being stuck mean to you? What does being stuck mean or look like to you? What area of your life do you feel stuck in right now? What area of your life do you feel stuck in right now? And in fact, let's actually do this. I have an assessment here. Yep, inability to make a decision and take action. So here, I'm going to do you one better. That way you know for sure. I just dropped a Wheel of Life assessment. I wasn't going to do this, but you know what? I'm here, you're here, we're all here. Might as well go all out, right? How many of you are up for going all out? So I have this assessment here. It's the Wheel of Life. Click on that link there, and you're going to see this quiz. It's the Wheel of Life assessment. You've likely done something like this before. It takes maybe 60 to 90 seconds to complete. Go ahead and take that quiz. It's going to give you a result. Once you've got that result, come back here and we'll continue. Okay, so I'll give you 60 seconds, 60 to 90 seconds to complete that. If you need a little bit more time, just let me know. As soon as you've completed that Wheel of Life, and if you're open to sharing, go ahead and put your overall score and the area of life that it says you need the most work on. Okay, I see a few people are completing it, Danielle. So I'll put it in there again, and you might need to open it either from a different desktop or device. And then when you open it up, there should be a section that says take the quiz. Test it one more time, and if not, I'll make sure you get it afterwards. Okay. Okay, so I see some of you have started to get those results. For those of you that are open to sharing your results, just go ahead and drop those in the chat. Your overall score and the area of life that you need the most work on. Just this is the first step to improving any area of your life. It is that self-awareness. It is that self-awareness that allows us to really see the bigger picture and see how these areas of our lives might be out of balance, so that we can take the first step to being in balance, right? To making sure that we're setting ourselves up for success. So go ahead and drop those in the chat when you're ready. And I'll ask you again, which area of your life, if you prefer to just put the area of life that you feel stuck in, which area of life is that? Is it career/business? Is it family? Is it relationships, spirituality? Is it health and fitness? Is it personal and self-growth? Okay, so I see, not a surprise, 10% of my career. I need to work on relationships. My career and spirituality are green. Great. Career needs most work and improvement. Relationships. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all for sharing. Now, being stuck in these areas of your life, right? How much has being stuck cost you? As you look at last year, 2024, okay, that entire year, how much has being stuck cost you in 2024? What's the, if you were to put an actual number on it, like a financial metric on it, how much has being stuck cost you last year? Because here's the thing, right? This class that you're all attending right now is free, right? It's free. No one paid to be here. And so I'm curious for you all, how much has being stuck cost you? If you were to put a number on it, is it $10,000, $50,000? How much has procrastinating on your business or procrastinating on your dream career or the thing that you've been holding back on taking action? How much does that cost you? Put it in the chat when you have it. Because whatever that cost is to you, that's the real price of admission for you to be here today. Whether it's $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $30,000, $50,000, $100,000, whatever that number is for you, that's the real price of being here today. So the question is, how do we go from stuck to unstoppable? And what does being unstoppable actually mean? What does it mean to you? How does it feel to be unstoppable? All of you have likely had a feeling of being unstoppable, feeling powerful in your life at some point. Am I right? And so what does that mean to you? How does it feel? Let me know in the chat. Please share. When you think of that, what do you see? How do you look? What sound do you hear when you are unstoppable? And what could you do when you are unstoppable? What could you do when you are unstoppable? You could do anything. Unstoppable, confident, empowering, feels exhilarating, peaceful, confident, empowered. The sky is the limit, strong, everything, anything. Absolutely. So the question then becomes, if we all want to be unstoppable, how do you become unstoppable? How do you get to the point where you're in that state naturally, where you could do everything and anything that your heart desires? It begins with rewiring your mind. It begins with rewiring your mind for growth and success. Okay? So for today's class, when you stay until the end, you're going to discover how rewiring your mind is the key that has helped high achievers and entrepreneurs break free from fear, indecision, and overwhelm to create unstoppable growth. You're going to learn how to release limiting beliefs that are silently sabotaging your success without spending years in therapy or even mindset coaching. Now, I'm a big proponent of therapy. I did it for 2.5 years, super helpful. And I don't think you need to be in therapy your entire life to get results, okay? You'll also receive practical strategies to make faster, more confident decisions and regain control over your career, your business, and your life. How many of you would like to regain control over your life? Yes? 100%. So my goal for this class for you is simple. It's to help you achieve consistent growth in your career, in your business, without fear and without burnout by rewiring your mind. I'm going to show you exactly how to break free from fear, overwhelm, and self-doubt so you can confidently scale your business and scale your life. And I'm going to show you exactly how we help high achievers and entrepreneurs unlock clarity, confidence, and momentum by removing the mental blocks that are holding them back. So I want you to just imagine for a second here, and if you prefer to close your eyes, you can if you feel safe to do so, and just picture yourself. Just imagine waking up with crystal clear clarity on your next big move, on your next business move, next big step. Imagine making confident decisions. How it would feel to be confident every single moment of your day, making confident decisions without overthinking, finally trusting yourself to succeed, knowing that whatever you do is going to work because you're going to make it work. No more fear of failure, no more 12-hour grind, just focus, pure freedom, and unstoppable growth, where you can now focus on having an impact, serving the people in your life, whether it's your kids, your family, and your community. How amazing would that feel? So good. So good. There might be some other things that you've tried in the past. And for some of you, how many of you have tried hustling harder? Right? I know I have. And how many of you have hustled harder and still feel stuck and more burnt out and more exhausted? How many of you have chased every new strategy, every new tactic without any real results? I've been there, done that. Self-help books, courses, webinars. How many webinars have you attended that didn't create that lasting change? Right? I'm there with you because I'd like to take you back to not so long ago. Okay, I'd like to take you back to the start of 2024. I had just bought $1 million home on the beach. Okay, I had achieved a certain level of success. It's all relative, right? I had bought $1 million home on the beach, convinced that this was going to be my best year yet. And instead, I was hit with imposter syndrome. How many of you have experienced imposter syndrome? What about self-sabotage? And how about a little bit of fear? How many of you have experienced any of those? Yes? Put a yes in the chat if you have, because I had it big time last year. And so what happened was I honestly, I panicked, right? I ended up selling the house, and I think the biggest, what I got hit with the hardest was that I lost trust in my own decision making. How many of you have made a decision in the past that didn't turn out the way you wanted it to? And you were like, damn, can I trust myself to make decisions? I felt like I was letting my wife down and soon to be born son down. And I, like many of you, had tried every course, every mastermind, and even mindset tools, but nothing ever stuck. Until one day I decided I needed to do something different. And so I actually went through to this training. And after I did this training, I actually had this breakthrough session that changed everything for me in just 8 hours. Just 8 hours after 2.5 years of therapy, which, like I said, helped. It got me talking more about my emotions and becoming more vulnerable. I needed that, 1000%. And how many of you would like to get results faster? If you'd like to get results faster and have a breakthrough faster, put faster in the chat, right? Because we don't got time to waste. We got things to do, people to see, right? And so after that, I walked away thinking and operating at a different level after months of confusion, of self-doubt, and a lack of trust in myself. And that moment became the seed for what I now call the rapid alignment method. What I'm about to show you isn't another hack or a quick fix. It's something completely different. It's a method that helps you break free from stress, from overwhelm, and self-doubt at the end of the day. Okay? It's really a process designed to help you release any mental baggage. How many of you got some stuff? How many of you know when I say stuff, what I'm talking about? Some stuff that gets in the way sometimes, right? And so help you release some of that mental baggage, really align you with your goals and your purpose, your vision and your values, and freeing you from what's holding you back so you can finally move forward with confidence. This is really what this process allows you to do at a very high level. And so you might be asking, I see a lot of familiar faces here, and thank you so much for being here and always being so supportive. And I also see some new faces. So you might be thinking, who is this guy to begin with, and why is he qualified to teach this? So is it okay with you if I briefly share a little bit about me, just so you know who's speaking to you? Is that cool? Perfect. So I'm a doctor of physical therapy. For those that don't know, I do have my doctorate in physical therapy, who realized that real transformation doesn't start in the body. It starts in the mind. I experienced working with hundreds, if not thousands of patients, and something always irked me. I'm like, why is it that some people show up, do the work and get results, and a lot of people don't? Why is it that some people disappear off the face of the planet, don't do their home exercise programs, and there's always something that happens to them? Like they're always getting into accidents, always getting hurt, right? Like it was so frustrating. And so here I am trying to get them to like heal their bodies, and it worked for some, and didn't work for a lot. And then I went into the online coaching space and I was like, oh, this is going to be way better. I'm working with professionals now, helping them to grow their businesses. I've got the strategies, I got the tactics, I got everything they need to be successful. And then sure enough, some people had great success and some people didn't. And I was like, what is going on here? They've got the same resources. Why is it not working? And I finally came to the conclusion, it's because it's not the strategy, it's not the tactics that's holding them back. It's what's up here. And so I saw these patterns in people because we're all humans, right? And so over the last few years, I've come to this realization that everything starts in the mind. And if we don't take care of this first, then nothing else is going to work. Nothing else is going to work. And so I was able to grow a multi-six-figure physical therapy practice in under 8 months. I built a multi-million-dollar online business, helping over 750 entrepreneurs. I've invested over $300,000 into business and mindset coaching programs. And I say all this not to impress you, just to share with you that I'm just like you, right? I went to school, I got a degree, and I learned a lot through failures, through dealing with imposter syndrome and burnout, the same challenges that you're all facing now. And this journey has led me to the point where I'm at now, where I've realized that everything starts up here, and we need to focus and put all of our energy, all of our time, all of our money, everything into making sure that we are being the person that we need to be first and foremost. How many of you have heard of the idea of be, do, have? How many of you have heard of that success principle, be, do, have? Yeah. Essentially, if you haven't, is that most people are doing it backwards. They're focused on the having that leads to when I have the money, when I have the time, when I have the thing, then I'll be able to do what I want to do. And then I'll be successful. And then I'll be a better parent. And then I'll be X, Y, and Z. And for a while, I was like, okay, this makes sense. You have to be the person first. You've got to become the person who can do the thing. And then when you do the thing, you have everything that you've ever wanted. And I was like, that sounds nice, but how do you be? How many of you have had that question before? How do I be if I don't know how to be, if I'm not that person yet, right? And so after a conversation with a friend, I realized that you're being this because all of us are human beings, right? We don't have any aliens in here, do we? Right? We're human beings. We're not human doings. We're not human havings. We're human beings. And your beingness, who you are, is a reflection of your thoughts, your beliefs, your identity, your values, your personality, your behaviors, your attitudes. That's who you are being. So if everything begins with our beingness, we need to start there. Is this making sense? Are you guys following me? Yeah, put make sense in the chat. And so from this realization, I designed this 3-step process. Okay, the rapid alignment method. Number 1 is reveal and release. Okay, you've got to uncover and remove the mental roadblocks. And when you do that, you gain crystal clear awareness of your hidden fears and limiting beliefs that are holding you back. So you see exactly what's keeping you stuck. It's that awareness, right? Number 2, it's the rapid rewiring. So this is how you rewire your mind for fast track success. So you're able to, using this method, erase deep unconscious resistance and install powerful new mental patterns so you feel unstoppable clarity and confidence. And number 3 is aligned action. This is where you essentially align your vision, your values, and your goals with a clear, simple strategy. So you move forward without the hesitation, without the fear, without second guessing. This method became my secret weapon to break free from the cycle of self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, and the overwhelm that I was experiencing last year. And when you have this, you're able to become aligned. If you're an entrepreneur, it's becoming an aligned entrepreneur. And if you're not, being aligned in who you are, who you're meant to be, and what you're doing makes everything in life so much easier. Wouldn't you agree? And so what happens when we're not aligned? What happens if we are misaligned? First off, you start working against yourself and call it discipline. How many of you have tried to push through resistance? How many of you have forced yourself to be more productive? And how many of you have done those things and still feel behind? Meanwhile, your inner critic gets louder and your self-trust gets quieter, right? I've been there. When you're misaligned, you spend energy managing anxiety instead of building momentum. How many of you have experienced anxiety before? And how many of you are trying to like manage this thing that you think you have anxiety, right? Wasting all your present energy on a future outcome that is undesirable to you. When you're managing this and using all your energy trying to manage anxiety, every decision feels like a drain. You overthink, you delay, you second guess, which creates even more frustration, more self-doubt, and more inconsistency. It's exhausting. And when you're misaligned, you scale, you increase the pressure in your life instead of having more peace. Even if you apply this pressure and even if you hit your goals, it doesn't feel good. How many of you have hit goals in your past and it didn't feel good? I know it sounds crazy. It's happened to me. You've hit some goals, you thought it was going to feel amazing, and you finally get there and you're like, is this all there is? You achieve, but you feel empty. And so the next time you go to set a goal, you're like, well, do I really want to work that hard for this goal? I still feel empty on the other side of it. It's an interesting thought, right? And so some people produce, but you feel disconnected. You win on paper, but you end up losing yourself in the process. This is what happens when there's misalignment. And so what does misalignment feel like? And as I mention these, let me know if you've experienced one of these before. When you're misaligned, you might procrastinate, even on things that matter. How many of you have done that? Put a 1 in the chat if you have. Procrastinate even on things that matter. How many of you have stared at your to-do list, paralyzed, cycling through options? Like, what should I do first? And you're just kind of sitting there staring at your to-do list, but not taking any forward movement. Yeah, put a 1 in the chat if that's you. You make decisions from fear, not clarity. How many of you have made some decisions because of fear taking over? You feel exhausted before the day begins. How many of you wake up and you're like, I'm so freaking tired, and and even on the days you actually get sleep, how many of you sometimes feel more exhausted on the days that you get more sleep, right? Because something underneath the surface. It's not the sleep. You keep trying new strategies, but nothing sticks. Your success feels fragile, like it could fall apart at any moment, or you have trouble even getting there. And you feel a deep pull to grow, but something inside keeps on slamming the brakes. How many of you feel like there's more inside of you? There's something pulling you to grow, to go after more. And you know it's possible because other people do it too, yet something inside also keeps slamming the brakes and keeps slowing you down. Yeah, it's not a good feeling, and it's tiring. It really is. And so this process, okay, is the key to breaking through all of that. Because when I finally discovered it, when I had access to this, I began achieving more in less time. My business grew, and I finally experienced the balance and the clarity that I needed and that I had been chasing really for years. I didn't feel stuck anymore. I finally felt unstoppable, scaling my business with clarity and confidence. And I would say the biggest transformation wasn't just in my business, it was in me, right? I no longer felt controlled by fear or indecision. I finally felt aligned. I learned how to trust myself and make confident decisions and create a business and life that worked for me, not the other way around. And that's a transformation that I want for you as well. It really is. And here's a cool thing. It's that it's not just me. Here's an example of someone else that got results too. Okay, this is Rudy. And after going through this process and working on rewiring his mind and understanding what you're about to understand here in just a moment, he went from feeling like he was going to get thrown off the island at any moment to having a deep sense of confidence and belief in himself that he's never felt before. Rudy went from releasing each emotion, and after going through that process, feeling like a weight was lifting off his shoulders, and in an instant, the resistance that he felt for so long was completely gone. And he mentioned that it no longer felt like climbing Mount Everest. Every step feels achievable now with confidence held deep inside and the knowledge that I can handle anything. How many of you sometimes feel like you're not just climbing a mountain, you're pushing a boulder up a mountain, and everything that you do just feels so freaking hard? And at the same time, you know that there are people out there that it's like everything they do just turns to gold. And you're like, why me? Why is this so hard? We're going to go ahead and uncover that for you today. So you finally know why. Okay? Because after 7 years and over $300,000 invested, I discovered the hard way. And because you're here today, you're going to get the easy way. You're going to get the fast route. Cool? So, question for you all. Where are you now? Let's talk about where you are right now. You can drop this in the chat. Okay? Maybe you've hit a ceiling. Maybe you're lost and trying to find your purpose. Maybe you have a business and you've lost your business vision and motivation and focus. Maybe you've invested in coaching before, you've bought the strategies, and you still wake up feeling behind, second guessing your moves and battling burnout. Where are you now? Where are you in your journey? And here's what I want to let you know as you type that in chat. I want to let you know that you're not broken. Okay, not at all. You have all the resources that you need are inside of you right now. You're just misaligned. And today I'm going to go ahead and show you how to fix that in a way that actually lasts. Okay, so here's what we're going to cover. Number one, why mindset work hasn't worked until now. You are not broken, just out of alignment. And discovery number three is that you don't need more strategy. You need this to use what you already know. Okay, that's it. So Diane is fighting shiny object syndrome with my business. Yeah, and that's a real thing, right? And so there's reasons why those shiny objects keep on presenting themselves. So discovery number one is this: why mindset work hasn't worked for you likely until now. And if you haven't done mindset work before, you're in the right place, because this is the best of. Okay, so well, you know what? Let's just go ahead and get into it. So here are some of the symptoms that you might be experiencing. Okay. How many of you have felt overwhelmed before? How about procrastination? How many of you have procrastinated before? Yep, big time. Self-doubt, perfectionism. How about imposter syndrome? Self-sabotage, people-pleasing, avoidance, indecisiveness, overthinking. All of the above? Yeah. What if I told you that these are actually not the problem? Tavi, what do you mean by that? These are not the problem. These are actually the symptoms of a deeper rooted problem, which I alluded to a little earlier. So here's a challenge that most of us face that it's very likely you've never heard before. Your unconscious mind is the driver. What do I mean by that? Most mindset work is surface level. Most of the stuff you've likely already done in the past is surface level. It doesn't reach the unconscious mind. Your mind is like this iceberg. The tip of the iceberg is your conscious mind, the 5%. You know how people say, oh, or there's, some people will say you don't use the entire capacity of your brain, right? You only use like 10% of your brain. What they're actually referring to is this. We actually do use our entire brain. It's broken up into conscious mind and unconscious mind. That's actually what's happening, right? So at the unconscious level, the 95% is where our decisions are actually made. And so your mind is like a computer. If there's old code or old programming like fear of failure or fear of success, it doesn't matter how much strategy you apply or how hard you try to do things, you'll keep crashing. Remove and rewire that hidden code, right? Update your software so growth becomes automatic and not forced. And so a lot of what's out there today is conscious mind. And really what we want to do here is focus on the 95% that runs your life beneath the surface at the bottom of the iceberg. That's what we don't see. So the reality is this, okay? As you think about your life and your mind like this iceberg, most people are aware of their presenting problems. What are the presenting problems? These are the symptoms that I was expressing and that many of you said you have. These are the behaviors, procrastination, the habits, perfectionism, and the patterns in your life that are creating the issues. A pattern of self-sabotage, a pattern of people pleasing. How many people pleasers do we have here? Yeah. And so these are the presenting problems that we see on the surface. Most people try to put Band-Aids on a wound that needs stitches. Okay. And so that's why these presenting problems never seem to go away. And a lot of people, they default to, well, I must just need more discipline or more accountability. Accountability is great. Strategy is great. If we don't fix what's at the root, these problems are just going to keep on coming back. It's the tip of the iceberg. It doesn't take you to the root, right? So the question then becomes, okay, Javi, well, what's underneath the iceberg that's causing this problem? What's causing the problem that we see? Well, first off, we have our thoughts. Then we have our belief systems. Then we've got our values and our identity. And we've got the emotional baggage. Okay? We've got the emotional baggage. All of these things that are happening beneath the surface is what causes these problems. Okay? So I would like to share with you now, okay, the thoughts that you're, as an example, the thoughts that you're experiencing, you have up to 60,000 thoughts per day. 60,000 thoughts per day. And 75% of those thoughts are negative. 60,000 thoughts per day. 75% of those thoughts are negative. And here's why. It's not because you're a negative person or what have you. It's because our internal wiring is structured for survival. Because in the past, we had to run away from saber-toothed tigers, right? We had danger around us and we had to be very aware and present of the things that could kill us, right? That could cause us to not be here anymore. And so our mind is wired for survival and for looking for what's wrong to protect ourselves. Now, a lot of the things that we should have been scared of and fearful of in the past, they don't pertain to our day and age. And so now our brain looks for other little things in our day to cause that stress response, cause those negative thoughts, and hold us back. Here's the other crazy stat. 95% of the thoughts that we have, so Lisa says 45,000 negative thoughts per day. That's a lot. And 95% of the thoughts that we have are repetitive. How many of you feel like you've been living the same day, the same week, the same year over and over and over again? How many of you feel like you're in this hamster wheel where every single day you're just kind of going through the motions? Put a 1 in the chat if you're experiencing that, or if you have. Why is that? Well, if 95% of your thoughts are repetitive and there's no activity in helping you to rewire those thoughts, you're going to create the same reality every single day. You might see some minor improvements here and there, some shifts, but you always revert back to who you've been, unless you do the work, which I'm going to show you what that looks like here in just a moment. Okay. So we'll get into the belief systems, the values, and the emotional baggage here in just a moment. So what ends up holding us back? What holds us back? What holds us back is the emotional baggage, anger, sadness, guilt, fear, anxiety. I'll go over that more in just a moment here. Limiting beliefs and decisions, conflicts between our values at our deepest core, false identities and labels that we give ourselves. This is so key. The labels that you give yourself limit you. Labels limit you. For example, if I say I'm a physical therapist, which I said for a very long time, I've identified who I am as a physical therapist. I can see all these amazing opportunities in front of me, but if all I see myself is as a physical therapist, I'm only going to see opportunities that pertain to someone who's a physical therapist. That could cap me, right? And so anything that you think you are at any point in time, I want you to remember this. You are more than that. So remove the labels, because labels put you in this box that does not exist and does not allow you the opportunity to step into who you really are. That's what labels and false identities can do to you. And then incongruencies and misalignments. Those are some of the things that hold us back. So how do we create lasting transformation? How do we create transformation that lasts? The first thing we have to understand is that traditional methods don't work. Traditional methods that focus on isolated aspects of mindset or even mental health are often treating the symptoms rather than the root causes that are found in the unconscious mind. So if you've worked on this type of stuff before and you haven't gotten the results that you would prefer to get, it's likely because it's barely scratched the surface on what's actually going on beneath the surface. And so here's why. All learning, all behavior, and all change is unconscious. All learning, all behavior, and all change is unconscious. Now, as you learn something, as you learn it, right? Once you learn it though, where does it go through? Where does it go? Think about it. Your phone number. Your phone number, you're not always consciously thinking about your phone number to remember it. Yet, how many of you have had the same phone number for a very long time, maybe over 10 years, and you still remember it? And until I ask you about it, you're not thinking about it. It's in your unconscious, right? Learning was at the unconscious level. Behavior, whether it's biting your nails, it's twirling your hair. How many of you have something like that you do often, that let's say you start biting your nails and then you realize that you were doing it after the fact? How many of you have done something, you have a behavior, you have something that you do on an ongoing basis and you don't realize you're doing it until afterwards? Let me ask you this. How many of you have had the experience that you're driving somewhere and then you get to your destination and you're like, how the heck did I get here? Right? You were like on autopilot. You were like, I don't even remember this drive. And I go for an hour apparently. All the time. We're on autopilot. Your unconscious mind, because of the repetition, it's on autopilot. It's running the show for you. That behavior is unconscious. It already knows where to go because you've ran the same pattern for so long. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. So these are all examples of how learning behavior and change is unconscious. So the key here is understanding that we need to work with the unconscious mind in order to get the results that we desire. Is that making sense? Are you guys following me? And I'm gonna break this down even more, by the way, so you really get this. You following me? You getting this? Okay. So discovery number 2 is the idea that you're not broken, you're just out of alignment. Okay. Have you ever thought to yourself, maybe I'm just not cut out for this? How many of you have found yourself saying that to yourself at some point? Right? Maybe I'm just not cut out for this thing that you want, whatever it is, the relationship, the career, the business, the healthy body. What that is surfacing for you is an internal false belief talking. Okay. And so what we need to do is you need to release the parts of you that are trying to stay safe or by keeping you stuck. Okay. Once we remove those unconscious blocks, you'll stop procrastinating and you'll start taking bold action without needing to push. It's going to feel a lot more effortless, like you're in flow. So remember how I mentioned that your unconscious mind is the driver? I want you to think about this. right? How does this actually work? Well, how many of you have ever set a goal and not hit it? Put a me in the chat if you've ever had set a goal and not hit it. I'm right there with you, so I'm gonna put a me in the chat as well. Okay, I've been there. Now, how many of you have ever had a desire to get rid of, or perhaps create a new habit, and you never did? How many of you wanted to get rid of an old habit or potentially create a new habit and you never did? Yes? Okay. Now, how many of you have attempted to hit the same goal or create a new habit more than once? Put a "that's me" in the chat if you've attempted to hit the same goal or create the same new habit more than once, right? End of the year comes by, you're like, okay, this is my New Year's resolution. This is the goal I have this year. A few weeks go by, maybe a couple months, if you're lucky, and then all of a sudden you're back to the same pattern. Yep. And still nothing. Would you all like to know why this happens? Would you all like to know the secret for why this happens? Yes? Okay. Yes, please. Okay. So here's what happens. You set a goal consciously. This is your desired behavior. This is where you want to go. Okay? Okay, so since we're here, put a goal in the chat. Put a goal in whatever area of life you're working on that you've set for yourself or that you like to hit this year. Put a goal in the chat. Just any goal will do. Could be financial, could be to get into a relationship, a happy, healthy one, make some sort of income from my business. Diane, this isn't the purpose of this masterclass. However, I would recommend putting a specific one, because if we set up make some sort of income for my business goal, guess what's going to happen? You're going to make $1 and your unconscious mind is going to say, this is what you asked for. Here you go. And then we forget to thank our unconscious mind for giving us what we said we wanted. Right. And so I know these are quick ones, right? But just in the grand scheme of things, just for the future, right? You want to set more specific goals to own a multifamily, relationship and career, 10 transactions this year, my real estate business, making more consistent income for my business. Okay, cool. Cool. Okay, perfect. So you have this goal. Now, what happens is as you're going after this goal, our unconscious mind, it derails you. Why? What happens? You go after this goal. Let's say the start of the year, you go after this goal. And then a few weeks in, maybe a few months in, all of a sudden you find yourself derailing and the actual behavior does not match the goal that you intended. Why does this happen? It happens because of this reason. Your conscious mind is what we call the goal setter. You can consciously set goals. All of you just in a matter of a few minutes, seconds, came up with some goals consciously. The thing that was at the top of your head. Okay? Here's where it gets a little tricky. Your unconscious mind is what we call the goal getter. Your unconscious mind is a goal getter. So all of us can easily consciously set goals, but if our unconscious mind isn't aligned, it's not on the same wavelength, no matter what you do, it's going to pull you back to your old patterns, your old habits. Always. Always, unless we work with the unconscious mind. I'll give you an example. Has anyone here ridden a horse before? Anyone here ride a horse before? Well, I have, and I've had some interesting experiences with horses, but that's a conversation for another day. And so a trail horse, which is actually the one that I rode in Costa Rica, and I was, so let's say you're riding a trail horse. Do you guys know what a trail horse is? Basically a trail horse, it's been trained to follow a trail. It's been trained to follow a trail at all costs, right? It's either leading or it's following the other horses with the passengers, okay? And so what happens if you're on a trail horse who's following this trail and you try and pull that horse to your right, if you try to pull that horse to your left and go off the trail, what's going to happen? that big, strong, powerful horse is going to say nope and pull you right back. It's going to pull you right back on the trail. Why is that? Because the horse has been trained to follow the trail. That horse is like your unconscious mind. It's the programming that you have absorbed and taken in for your entire life. Your unconscious mind is programmed to follow that. And so that's why you set goals consciously and find yourself not doing the thing that you know you should be doing to hit the goal. So the unconscious mind can be trained or retrained. Absolutely it can. It just works in a different way than the conscious mind. 100%. You've got to retrain it to be aligned with your goals so that you actually get what you want. Because if there's alignment there, it becomes way easier to get to your destination. Is this coming together now for you all, how this works? And so if your unconscious thoughts, your beliefs, your values and identity, and this is how you know your thoughts are unconscious. How many times have you had like an intrusive thought or a thought and you start realizing the thought you're having, and you're like, I really shouldn't be thinking that. Where did that come from? Right? Sometimes we are not consciously thinking about the thoughts that we're having. That's how you know they're unconscious thoughts. And it doesn't have to take years, Lisa. That's a belief that many people have had, which is why it takes years. It doesn't have to. And so if your unconscious thoughts, your beliefs, your values, and your identity do not align with your goals, no tactic, no strategy will work. Now, some of you might be saying, well, Javi, I haven't done this work before, and I've done things. I've had goals, and I've had a strategy and tactics, and I've done some things, and I have hit some of my goals. Yeah, 100%, right? However, can you do it consistently? And for most people, at some point, they hit a ceiling based on their programming, environment, parents, the people around them, their friends, people that you've looked up to your entire life. This is where some of those blocks start to surface, right? And so studies show that 80% of success is psychological and only 20% is mechanical. In fact, Buddha has this famous quote, what you think you become. What you think you become. He didn't say what you do you become or what you have you become. It's what you think. So this is why it's so important to really work on rewiring how we think, rewiring our thoughts at the unconscious level. Because what does this look like consciously? Consciously, it looks like you have tried affirmations before. Put a 1 in the chat if you've tried affirmations before. Now, for how many of you has the affirmation not always worked? Put a 1 in the chat if you've tried affirmations and they haven't worked. Okay? The same people, right? And so that's a conscious way of trying to rewire your thinking. And if your unconscious mind, if beneath the surface, underneath the iceberg, it's not aligned with what you're saying, your unconscious mind is saying, well, that's not true. And so it's kind of, it's saying that's a lie, that's a lie, that's a lie. And now it's losing trust with itself. And so affirmations are great once you've let go of all the stuff clouding who you really are beneath the surface, right? So with your thoughts, I want you to think about what are some of the thoughts that you can think of that keep you stuck, that keep you in self-doubt, that keep you from taking action, that keep on bringing you back to procrastination. Whatever it is that you're experiencing in your life right now, what are some of the thoughts that keep you stuck? If you were to think about the last time you had that problem, what were you thinking just before that problem? That I'm an outsider in my community, that it isn't going to work? Is this the right or best way to go about it? Can you all see just from these few examples where I don't have enough time? Can you all see just from these few examples that these negative thought patterns, how they hold you back and how they will continue to hold you back unless you rewire them? I won't get the job I'm qualified for. Yeah. I want you to become hyper aware of your specific thought patterns. This is everything, guys. This is so important. The awareness, we can't change something that we're not aware of first. Make sense? So if you're still thinking through them, drop them down. This is a great process to start getting them out there so you can begin to rewire them. The second one underneath the surface in the unconscious mind is your beliefs. More specifically, your limiting beliefs. These are interesting. 95% of the beliefs that you have right now were programmed in your mind between the ages of 0 and 7 years old. 95% of the beliefs that you have right now were programmed in your mind between the ages of 0 and 7. Who were you listening to? Who did you have in your environment, in your circle during that time frame? And what else is it? Family, religion, the government, TV programming. I watch some of the kid shows that I used to watch when I was a kid, and I watch them now and I'm like, oh my God, who let us listen to this? Who let us watch this? Right? Even some of the music that we used to listen to as kids. And I'm like, whoa, this is kind of crazy when you really think about it. Right? All of these things are programming at an unconscious level when we're young and can't remember to believe certain things. Have you ever gotten curious about why they call it TV programming? It's not because the TV is programmed, it's because they're programming you. Something to consider. Okay? Doesn't mean don't watch TV, it just means be aware of it. How are they programming you? I honestly have not watched the news since I was maybe when I left, when I wasn't living with my grandparents anymore, 15, since I was 15 years old, I haven't watched the news. And I've been really happy. Yeah, stuff has come up, right? Sure, problems arise, but life goes on. Everything's been fine. I haven't been affected by that. The news mainly programs people for fear and scarcity. Fear and scarcity is their agenda. Why? Think about this. We mentioned earlier that our brain is hardwired for survival. And we're always looking for what's wrong in an effort to protect us. So the news knows that in order to keep your attention, it must provide you with fear and scarcity and things that scare the shit out of you to hold your attention. And I got people saying, well, Javi, how do you know then what's going on in the world? And I think to myself, I'm like, well, if someone can't fix the problems that are going on in their world, how do they ever expect to fix the problems that are going on in the world? Right? Focus and work on yourself first, and then you'll have more of the resources and abilities and the power and the influence and whatever it is you need to affect the world how you want it. Okay? So here's another point here. Unless you've done some of this work already, 60% or more of the beliefs that you have limit you or hold you back in some way. So I'm curious for you, what are some of the beliefs that you have that are coming up for you right now that might be holding you back? These could be beliefs like, I'm not smart enough, I'm too old, I'm too young, I don't have all the degrees or the experience I need. It could be beliefs, limiting beliefs around money, right? Rich people are greedy. I'm broke. I can't, making money is hard. I can't be spiritual and be rich, right? What are some of the limiting beliefs that you have that hold you back? Put some of those in the chat. Misunderstood religious doctrine. Yeah, we really have to pay attention to who we're getting that information from, because some political leaders and leaders in general have their own agenda. They really do. So we really have to be cautious and intentional about where we're getting that information. So what are some of the beliefs, the limiting beliefs that come up for you that are holding you back in some way or form? Because I have kids, I can't pursue my dreams. That everyone is innately good or decent. I think that's a positive belief, actually. I think we should believe that. Yeah, until proven wrong, and then you just get them out of your life or don't interact with them, right? So what are some of those beliefs that come up for you? These beliefs can limit you big time. So we need to be aware of what they are, again, in order to change them, okay? So as you think about those, just for the sake of time, I'm going to keep on going here, okay? The next level is your identity and your values. Your identity and your values. So your identity, so Alex, yeah, it's 90 minutes. It's 90 minutes. So we'll be here till at least 8:30, at least. Sometimes I really enjoy serving you all the time. And so I go a little over, but 8:30 is the time. So your identities, who we identify as and believe ourselves to be, that's what your identity is. And some of us, our identities are given to us. Some of them we take on, some of them we reject, and these identities can hold us back and cause negative thoughts and beliefs. So an identity of who you think you are will cause you to believe and think a certain way. Now, what are some identities? I am broke. Isn't anything that you would say I am X, that's a label and an identity that you've given yourself or that you've taken on from someone else. I am middle class. I am poor. I am lower class. I am fill in the blank. What are some of the identities that come up for you? These identities can also be seen as labels that you give yourself. And when you label yourself, you limit yourself. Remember that. So what are some of the I am statements you've given yourself that are holding you back? Perfection. I'm a perfectionist. Yep. That'll do it. Yep. Having that identity, right, can definitely. I'm a procrastinator. I'm a people pleaser. I'm a non-finisher. I start things and I don't finish them. Having that identity of being that type of person, is that good or bad? I'm an overthinker, right? Every single time you say that and you think that and you have that belief, you're putting yourself in a box. We have to get out of that box so you can step into who you really are. And then we have values. I'm going to go a little deeper on values here in just a moment, okay? So that's the next one. And then we've got, well, let's discuss values here. So in the context, I want all of you to this is the participation part of the presentation, okay? So in the context of career and business, I want you just, the first thing that comes to mind, don't overthink it, put the first 5 values that you have in the context of career and business. These could be one word, maybe 2. What are the first 5 values that come up for you in the context of career and business? Just put them in the chat as they come to you. I'm going to show you why this is so important to understand and why you need this. Okay, transparency, doing better, dedicated, creative, detail-oriented, motivated, compassionate, empowering. Great, good stuff. Okay, now I want you to go ahead and check in with yourself as you're putting these down. Amanda, as you look at, first thing that comes to mind.
Get all these dirty clothes out of here. Where JoJo at?
Oh, there we go. I'm just going to go ahead and meet you there. Okay. So as you're looking at the values that you're putting in there, start going through them. So Amanda, dedicated and creative. First thing that comes to mind at the unconscious level, is there any conflict between any of these? Dedicated and creative. Dedicated and motivated. Dedicated and compassionate. You feel conflict there. Okay. So you do feel conflict within those values. Here's the thing that you'll notice, and this is a quick exercise and you felt it, right? As you're listing your values, if you ask yourself, is there conflict between these? Your unconscious mind knows. Here's the thing. Your values are at the deepest core of who you are. They dictate how you spend your time. And if we think about time, time is the stuff that your life is made of. And if we're wasting our time, we are wasting our life. Time is important. We can all agree. And so values dictate what you do with your time and how you evaluate the time that you've spent. So here's why this is important. When you write down your list of values and you ask yourself at an unconscious level, is there any conflict within my values? And the first answer that comes to mind, if it's yes, there is. If there's a conflict between them, you guys know how sometimes in life you feel like things are inconsistent. Income, inconsistent in your goals, inconsistent in your relationships, self-sabotage. You kind of like have these ups and these downs, and it's like a roller coaster. You take 3 steps forward and 5 steps back, and you do this back and forth in your whole life, and you're like, what the heck is going on here? It is because there's conflict at the deepest core of who you are inside of those values. And that's just one part of it. And I'm going to give you an example here, okay? If you have a value of freedom and security, okay? Let's say, as an example, you have a value of freedom and security, and these values are at a war with each other. Most people's values are in war with each other, and they don't even realize it, okay? So think about this. If someone tells you they value freedom, if you value freedom, time freedom, creative freedom, financial freedom, the ability to work on your own terms, and another one of your values is security, predictable income, stable cash, low risk, control over outcomes, here's the trap. If there's conflict between both of those, you try to chase both values at the same time without ever making a conscious decision about which one's leading. What happens? The person seeking freedom might start a business to create freedom, but because of the value of security, if it's in conflict, it might keep them from they'll keep making safe, small, risk-averse decisions to protect their sense of security. We all know that in business, you need to take some level of risks to get the reward. You've got to get uncomfortable to get what you want. And if you also value comfort and security, can you see how there's conflict there? 100%. And so most people, they dream about growth, but then they delay bold moves because their nervous system, their unconscious mind is screaming, this is not safe. So guess what happens? They stay stuck right in the middle. Not really free, not really secure, but just going back and forth in their head. What do I do? What do I do? And they stay exhausted. And here's the kicker. When you don't consciously choose which value leads in this season of your life, your unconscious will make the decision for you. And it usually chooses safety and fear over alignment because of the reasons we discussed earlier. And I know this because I lived it, right? I wanted freedom, but I was making every decision based on fear of losing what I had: income, status, stability. It was that internal tug of war. It kept me small. It kept me exhausted, questioning everything until I rewired what was running the show. Until I finally had unconscious alignment. When your values are clear and you've released any conflicts, okay, that's when everything starts to shift. That's when everything starts to shift. Okay? We can go deeper on this conversation, but before I move forward here, can you guys see the power of really understanding this and understanding what your values are and making sure that they're not in conflict with each other? You know what? I'm just going to go here. The second part to this is we go through each one of these and we ask you the value of creativity. Do you feel like it's towards or away? Meaning, if the person has a goal of making more money or a value of freedom, and the idea is, I don't want, and you list all the things you don't want. I don't want to be stuck. I don't want to be controlled. I don't want to be in a job. I don't. what do you typically get? All the things you don't want. And more importantly, if that's your motivation to go away from, finally, when you get out of that and you're not broke anymore, as soon as you get far enough away from being broke, you're like, ooh, relief. I'm not there anymore. I'll never get there again. You stop doing the things that got you out of there because the motivation's gone. And then you go back to square one. Inconsistency, right? So we need to make sure that these values are clear of any baggage that's going to cause self-sabotage. Is this making sense? Is this clear? Yeah, put clear in the chat if this is clear. I just want to make sure everyone's getting it. Okay, cool. Cool. Crystal clear. Excellent. Now, you can trust yourself to succeed when you remove the mental blocks that sabotage you in the past. Okay, you can. Discovery number 3 is the idea that you don't need more strategy. You need this, okay, to use what you already know. Because if you're here, you already have enough strategy. You have a strategy of getting here. You showed up, okay? The issue isn't what you know. It's what your mind won't let you implement. Think of it like driving with a parking brake on, right? No matter how hard you press the gas, you're going nowhere. But once you release the brake, instant movement. That's what happens when you rewire your unconscious mind. You stop forcing and you start flowing. Okay, that's the power of this. So I want to go ahead and leave you with this, right? It's not the mechanics, it's your mind. And I've said this, and some people will still go back and try the next shiny object without working on themselves first, okay? You don't need more how-to, no tactics or strategies. There's something deeper holding you back. And you might have believed, like I did for a while, that the key to success is more knowledge. How many of you love to learn, right? More knowledge, more knowledge. I do, right? The truth is that's your mind that's the ultimate driver of results. So this is what you need. This is what you need, okay? And learning's a great thing. It really is. And learning without implementation, it's a form of procrastination if you really think about it. And trust me, I'm an avid learner, right? I've got all these books behind me. I love to learn. It is a form of procrastination. It can be, okay? And it makes us feel good. So thoughts, okay, your thoughts lead to feelings. Think about this, right? If I were to ask you about one of the most sad moments of your life, think about something that's happened in your life that's just not a great experience or a great event in your life, right? As you think about that moment in your life, you likely start to feel some type of way. You start to feel an emotion, sadness, anger, hurt, guilt. I mean, just as I was asking the question, my eyes started to tear up a little bit. I didn't even have a chance to really think about the moment, but my unconscious mind does. And so the thoughts you have at any moment lead to feelings. Now, if I asked you to think about one of the most happiest moments in your life, a happy moment where you had so much fun, you fell down laughing, you just had a really great time with maybe it was an experience or a person in your life, and you just go back to that moment now and you experience those emotions, what do you feel? Excited, happy, joyous. Whatever you feel is perfect for you. So our thoughts in moments influence how we feel. And our feelings then determine what we do, our actions. If you feel confident, empowered, and motivated, are you going to take less action or more action? More action. And if you take more action, and it's the right action, will you get no results or get results? You'll get results, right? If you feel depressed, sad, unhappy, you're likely going to take no action at all and get no results. So feelings, there's only one reason that anyone does anything ever, and it's because they feel like it or because they don't. And this is why. Make sense? And so if you're in this state here of in the corner, overwhelmed, lots of self-doubt, not really sure what to do, versus being in this state here, happy, joyous, confident, empowered, clear, do both of these states produce a different result? Yes or yes? Yeah, totally. We know this. It makes sense. And so why do I bring this up? Because at the bottom tip of this iceberg, right below the surface, at the unconscious mind, we have emotional baggage. Your emotions affect your perception of the reality and the world that you're in. They'll affect your actions and therefore your results. Make sense? So from conception to 7 years old, our mind is the most suggestible. It is a sponge, soaking everything up. I mentioned this earlier, right? The things that are said around, conversations, stories, TV, movies can impact the brain. So to truly transform your life, you must be fully aware of your emotions and the baggage. And here's the thing, you could have had the best parents ever, and your needs may have not been met. You could have had the best parents ever. And if your parent didn't buy you a toy at the age of 2, you could have been angry at them. That was the first moment you felt anger. So even if you've had an amazing life, you've had experiences and emotions with certain people that have stuck with you. And here's the thing about these emotions before the age of 7, you likely don't remember them. Most people don't have memories before the age of 7, unless you see a picture and it kind of comes back and surfaces. But for the most part, we don't remember those memories, right? So how do we get to the root? We get to the root by working with the unconscious mind, because the unconscious mind remembers everything, right? And so emotional baggage is so key to working with the unconscious mind, releasing negative emotions that keep us from taking action. Okay? And what does emotional baggage look like? It looks like anger. It looks like sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, and shame, and even future-based anxiety. These are all, I don't like to call them negative emotions. They're emotions, yet in the way that they can hold us back, they can be negative, right? Especially the ones that we've held on to for so long. And so what happens is baggage in different areas of our lives can hold us back from being at 100%. If you did the wheel of life and you're not at 100%, a big part of it is because of the baggage that you might be holding on to that you may not even be aware of. And so what happens is it gets even more challenging, because if you have baggage in one area of life, it can create imbalance of others. Let's be real. If you're at a job you hate, or if you're struggling in your business and you're frustrated and you come home with that same energy, is it going to affect your home life, your relationships with your kids, with significant other, with your family, with your friends? 100%. Absolutely. As much as we say we don't take our work home with us, we do. We take that energy with us, unless you have ways to navigate and tools to release that, right? And so all of this, when one spoke of the wheel of life is broken, the journey becomes a bumpy ride and shaky. And we're like, why the heck does this keep happening to me? Right? Because the wheel is broken. We don't have a smooth ride because of that. And so studies actually show that 75% of high-performing professionals experience burnout due to this imbalance. So if you're experiencing any type of burnout, or you have in the past, or it comes in waves, it's because there are areas of your life that are not where they need to be. And I think we could all agree on that, right? And so the right strategies only work when you've addressed the mental and emotional blocks that are holding you back. That's really it. So, question for you. Who do you think could benefit from rewiring how they think, turning limiting beliefs to empowering beliefs, from realigning their values, making sure that there's no baggage or conflict in those values? Everyone, 100%. Everyone. Has this been valuable for you all so far? Just kind of going over how the mind works, the unconscious mind, what's really at the root of what's holding you back? Yeah, it's been helpful. Okay, good. I'm glad to hear that, because the awareness is so key. And I want to just share with you Brenda Lees here. She said, before the breakthrough session, I was stuck in fear and reactive mode. It would take me days to shift my mindset. And after the session, I had the tools to transform fear into action in minutes. And I think most importantly, this was what was really cool about this. This didn't just change my career. It improved every area of my life. My relationship with my 14-year-old daughter is now the best it's ever been. And I don't think she'd trust me like she does now if I hadn't done this, right? The process of rewiring your mind is everything. Here are some common myths that we hear. You might think mindset work is just fluff and won't move the needle in your business. I don't think that's the case for any of you here. The reality is that business strategies won't work if your mindset's blocking you. And by releasing fear, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs and unlocking your ability to make faster decisions, you take bold action and finally see results in the strategies you already know you should do, right? It unlocks that for you. Common myth number 2 is thinking that releasing mental blocks and working with the unconscious mind takes years of therapy. I can tell you from firsthand experience, it does not. And breakthroughs can happen in a matter of hours when you use the right method, okay? Which the right methods involve using and working with your unconscious mind directly. Another common myth is believing you don't have the time to work on mindset. This is your being. This is who you are. This is the thing you must make time for, right? And if you really think about it, if you're constantly overwhelmed and stuck, it's costing you more time than you realize. Freeing up your mind and being clear and confident and congruent with who you are and where you're going actually saves you hours of indecision and wasted effort. Think about how many months, if not years, you've been stuck on a decision or something that you've been wanting to do moving forward with. Maybe months, maybe years for many, decades for some. That's a lot of wasted time. So isn't it worth investing 30 minutes, an hour a day, working on yourself and your mind? Even every other day, right? Totally. It makes everything else a lot easier. So the question then is, how do we create this lasting transformation? How do we create that lasting transformation? You do it by rewiring your mind, okay? By rewiring your mind at the unconscious level. This is how you do it, okay? If you focused on rewiring your unconscious mind, can you see how you could finally break free and achieve your next level of success? Give me a 1 in the chat if you could see how after today's training, working on this is the key to unlock that next level. It makes sense. It makes total sense, right? And so here's what we've covered so far: why mindset work hasn't worked until now, the idea that you're not broken, you're just misaligned, and that you don't need more strategy. You need to do this to use what you already know, okay? So the question then is, going back to the beginning, how do you become unstoppable now? There are 3 beliefs that are required for transformation, that are required for change for the better. The first one is that I can change, I can transform, okay? Do you believe that you can? Have you experienced a shift in your life in the past? Are you different now than you were 10, 15, 20 years ago? Very likely. So can you change? Put I can in the chat if you know you can change. The second belief for transformation and to become unstoppable now is I must. I must change. I must, right? It's the feeling of I need to do something about this. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. A lot of people, and I love this because Tony Robbins said this, the first person I heard it from, most people have too many shoulds in their life. I should do this, I should do that, I should do this. They're shoulding all over themselves. They're shoulding all over themselves. So you've got to turn the shoulds in your life to the must. So go ahead and put I must change in the chat. That is a belief that is required to actually experience a shift in your life. And number 3, the third belief for change is I will change. I will make it happen. You must be willing to do it. If you're not willing to do something, if you're not willing to experience a transformation or shift, there's no way in hell you're ever going to change. You must be willing to do it. That's a big part of the process. Your unconscious mind won't allow you to do anything that you're not willing to do, right? If you say unconscious mind, I don't want you to change, guess what? It's not going to change. Okay. So you must be willing to go through this process and really allow for it to work for you. Okay. The next question is, do you have the courage to do it? This is the inner work. This is the deep work in yourself. It might bring some stuff up for you. Do you have the courage to allow yourself to bring that stuff up so you can release it and move forward with all that weight lifted off your shoulders, dropping the bags so you can move forward with a sense of peace and lightness? Do you have the courage to do it? Let me know in the chat. Do you have the courage to experience that shift, to do what you need to do to experience that transformation, to let go of the stuff that's not serving you anymore so you can have more of what you actually want? Yes, put I do in the chat. Put I do in the chat. Cool. So with that said, we're 90 minutes in. It seems like you all have gotten lots of value, and I've got something for you all that I think you'd all really love and enjoy. And so is it okay with you all if I share with you about an opportunity to go even deeper? And I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm going to share for all of you here. I'm going to share with you like all the details of what it is. But for those of you that are like, just give me the facts now, it's a workshop to go even deeper on this. It's $37, cost of a pizza. Okay. That's what it is. So not, just wanted to put that out just flat out. So you already know. For those of you that are like, yeah, sign me up. I need to dive deeper into this because there's only so much that we can do in an hour and 90 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that link for you all here now, where you can go ahead and check it out and take a look at it. And if I can actually copy this, let's see here, copy and paste. Okay, there it is. So I'll put that link in the chat for you all. And so if it's okay with you all, I'd like to invite you to the Rewire Your Mind VIP experience, the same process that's changed my life and the lives of hundreds of others. And so what this is, the Rewire Your Mind workshop, it is a 5-day workshop, okay, 5-day workshop. And what we're going to do during these 5 days is assist you in going through exercises. We're going to go through different experiences during this time to actually help you with the rewiring process, right? Today, I really needed you to see how this is everything. How when you do this process, how when you begin to rewire your mind, life can change for you, and it can change pretty rapidly. Now, I need more time to actually take you through some of the different techniques and tools, right? And so during this workshop, you're going to discover how to rewire your mind so you can begin to work with your unconscious mind and finally get the results that you've been waiting for, okay? So the goal for you is that you'll leave this workshop with a deep understanding of your unconscious mind, how to work with it for maximum results, and get access to quick and easy tools that you can use daily to supercharge your business and your life, okay? Now, very briefly, these are some of the things that people have said. In the 5 days of Rewiring Your Mind Masterclass, I learned so much about releasing your old negative thoughts and making room for new positive thoughts. I can't wait for my personalized session. Dr. Javier has a down-to-earth way of presenting science that totally makes sense. I'm not a sciencey kind of gal. Simple, makes it easy to understand and follow. I know I'll get results here. And then, here, writing this in a little bit of disbelief. I actually did a switch pattern with him that one lucky person will be able to experience next week. So I'm writing this in a little bit of a disbelief. For years, I've struggled with getting up in the morning and being Mr. King Snooze. How many of you are Mr. or Mrs. King or Queen Snooze and on all of my alarms? But one day after meeting with Javier, I was able to get up at 7 a.m., happily hop in the shower to get my day started. After my shower, I simply began sipping my coffee, reading one of my books, and cuddling with the dog, aka my ideal morning that I've wanted to have for a very long time. Here's what's cool about this. This was a couple months ago now, and he's still experiencing this every single morning. It's pretty freaking amazing. So joining the workshop, I'm going to go ahead and break down what that looks like for you all. This is the workshop you'll have. Because this is a VIP experience, you're basically going to have access to all of the trainings from the moment you join. You can start going through it now and start going through the recording so that when you attend live in a couple of weeks, you'll be able to already have gone through the information once, and it'll even be more powerful the second time you go through it because that repetition is so powerful, okay? So in the first session of the workshop, I'm going to go ahead and cover the invisible block, and we're going to uncover at a much deeper level the hidden mental blocks that are quietly sabotaging your success and keeping you stuck in those same frustrating patterns and showing you how to begin to rewire those. So the thoughts, the beliefs, the values and identities, everything else that's holding you back, we're going to identify each and every one of those at a deeper level because it's a workshop to help you then begin to shift those, okay, to see those tangible shifts in real time. Session number 2 is going to go over unlocking your potential, and we're going to help you discover how your current mindset is holding you back and how to begin to shift your beliefs to unlock your full potential. I'm going to give you a process that you're going to be able to take with you that's going to help you to rewire your beliefs in real time every single day as they come up. Okay, I'm going to give you the strategy, the tactics. We're going to do some to practice so you actually have a tool that you take with you when those beliefs start surfacing. Okay, session number 3 is going to be a lot of fun. I might do this earlier actually, but at least by session 3, I'm going to pick one person because I want to show you the power of how quickly things can change. I'm going to pick at least one person, and we're going to do this fun technique called mapping across. If any of you here has something that you really, really like to eat, that has like this emotional grasp on you, that you know you shouldn't be having as much of, I'm going to take you through a 10-minute technique, and you must be open to doing it in front of everyone for the demo. And in a matter of 10 minutes, I'm going to have you not like that thing anymore. And ideally, if you have the thing at home, you're going to try it and see what the experience is like. Why do I do this? Well, number 1, it's a fun exercise. Number 2, you can see it in real time happening because you'll see someone's facial expressions. And number 3, it proves to you that change can happen very, very fast. Okay? So if anyone's already like, ooh, I've got something, and you join the workshop, let me know so we can start planning for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. And so that's going to be session 3. I'm going to show you a bit of that technique. We're also going to dive deeper into emotional mastery, how to uncover what the emotional baggage is and how you can begin to release that now. Okay. Session 4, the money myth. How many of you would like to make more money? Put a yes in the chat if you would, or a heck yes, right? How many of you know that there's something inside, internally, that might be holding you back from making more money, right? And so during session number 4, I'm going to go ahead and break down what money actually is, because you can't make more of something that you don't know what it truly is, right? And so I'm going to break down the myths behind it. I'm going to show you what it really is and how you can attract more money and abundance into your life. How many of you would love to have more abundance in your life? Yes. And so in session number 4, we're going to break all that down. Session number 5, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step system, a step-by-step process that allows you to take control of your life and make decisions with confidence. It's a step-by-step system. You're going to have access to the tool. You're going to be able to use it on a daily basis to help you make decisions with confidence so you feel assured and certain about what you're going to do when you take that next step. Okay, in any area of your life. Very simple, very effective. You're going to have complete access to that as well. Okay, this is another person so this is Matt. Truly unbelievable. I came to Dr. Javier with 2 detrimental habits. I was looking to break that I haven't been able to shake for decades. Okay, nail biting and snacking too much, with cookies specifically. Javier explained everything in a very easy to understand and comfortable manner and put me through modalities. And let me tell you, it's been 2 weeks and I haven't bit my nails once, nor had or even craved a cookie. 10 out of 10 recommending to all my friends and family. I spoke with him yesterday and still not biting his nails after decades, and no more cookies for Matt. Okay, now these are some fun behaviors we could change quickly. Now imagine those deeper rooted things that are holding you back at a much deeper level. What could happen if you release that, right? I mean, these already, like, just the confidence you have when you stop biting your nails, right? Or you release the hook that food has on you. Game changer, game changer. So this is everything that you're going to get at the workshop. The live Rewire Your Mind for Success workshop, the Rapid Alignment Framework, the Identify Your Hidden Blocks exercise, Mastering Your Internal Beliefs training. I actually just gave that to you all as a bonus. Today we can go over it in more detail. Goal Alignment Blueprint. I'm going to give you a meditation. It's 10 minutes for unstoppable confidence. You could listen to on a daily basis if you wanted to reprogram your mind for unstoppable confidence. Okay, you're going to have access to that and private support group as well. Okay, I've also got some bonuses for you all. So the bonus number one is the Rewire Your Mind workbook exercises. So these are exercises that you'll have in a workbook format to go through as you go through the event for daily action steps, templates, and resources to give you the clarity to get it done. Okay. You're also going to get a prosperity and abundance meditation. This is another meditation that's designed to align your unconscious mind with success, to rewire. And remember how we talked about the TV programming and how it's already programming you? What if you could decide how to program your own mind for success and abundance instead? Okay. Much better, right? And so we're going to give you this custom meditation that we've recorded for you so you can align your unconscious mind with success, attract opportunities effortlessly. You'll be able to listen to this daily and also have lifetime access to it, okay? For those of you that deal with some level of anxiety, we have an anxiety release meditation as well, okay? You listen to this to quickly reduce stress, shift into a calm, focused state. It's available whenever you need it, and it'll help you release the anxiety. Now, with anxiety, sometimes there's anxiety that's rooted in fear from our past, at an unconscious level from our past. Some people experience a complete release of their anxiety with this tool. For some people, they feel a shift and they feel a lot more calm and focused. And it can resurface if there's deeper stuff. So this is super valuable, super helpful. And for some people, they need a little bit more. Fair? Okay. The cool thing is all of you are going to get, who joined this, you're going to get a fast action bonus for VIP access. So the VIP experience is typically more expensive, okay? Because you're all here right now and you attended the masterclass, you're also going to get VIP access included for free, which means you're going to have access to me for an additional session after the main session 3 times during those 5 days to go deeper, to ask questions. I'll be able to work with you and do some more specific techniques with you to break through some patterns and habits. We'll do private meditation sessions. You'll be able to experience more breakthroughs and ask questions, and even some breath work exercises that you can utilize to take with you afterwards. So it's going to be really awesome to get access to the VIP as well. Okay. So this is everything that you're going to get for a retail value of $2,311. And normal price for all of this is $297. Today, it's only $37. Okay, that's all it is. So I would love to have you there. You can go ahead and click that link inside of the chat. I'll go ahead and put that link in the chat again. And you might be asking, well, Javi, when is it? It doesn't matter. Okay, just show up. No, I'll give you the dates. So the dates are April. Let me just double check. I want to give you the correct dates. So April 21st through 25th. I say an hour, expect at least 90 minutes a day. I want to really help you guys through this. So sometimes it goes a little bit longer. You will have access to the replays. It's part of this VIP package. You'll actually be able to start watching it now, and you'll be able to experience it live to get an even greater experience if you wanted to do that. And if you can't make one of those days, it's okay, because we'll have the replays and recordings for you within 24 hours. And so those are the dates, Monday through Friday. What happens next when you having some problems getting the link to open? Is anyone else having some challenges with that? Is it opening for you all? Let me just double check. Okay. Oh, it's not. That's so weird. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Let me try that again. Of course, because why would it work right now? Oh, that's funny. Okay. It was just working. So, okay, there it is. Try, it worked for you. Okay, yeah, try clicking it again. And then, whoops. It seems like I had to click it a few times, which is so strange. But it seems like we're good now. So that's good news. Okay. Thank you for that. I appreciate you letting me know. Beautiful. Yeah. So basically, it worked for you, already got your ticket. Excellent. I'm super happy to see you there. That's going to be awesome. So what's going to happen next is you'll purchase the ticket. On the second page, you'll be able to join the community where all the action is happening. You'll be able to add the workshop to your calendar. You'll be able to see it there. And because you're all getting this awesome bonus of the VIP, you'll be able to access the members area already with access to all the trainings, all the recordings, and all the additional tools and resources, the meditations, the anxiety release, the prosperity and abundance meditations, all of it you can have access to immediately. Okay, so you'll go ahead and go through that. During this process, I'm going to remind you of some of the pre-event tasks to complete to make sure you get the most out of it. We are going to be raffling prizes and different, we're going to be doing giveaways. And so you're gonna have points as we're gonna make this fun. Okay. How many of you love to have fun? I love to have fun. So we're gonna make this experience fun. We're gonna give away prizes and points and all the things. And so as we get closer, I'll give you some instructions for some very simple pre-event tasks. They're assignments to help you get the most out of it and to facilitate your growth throughout the 5 days. Okay. You'll be able to introduce yourself in the community. And ultimately, you'll be able to break free from old patterns, stay focused and motivated, make faster, clear decisions, take bold, confident action, achieve consistent business growth, and create a business and life that you love. Okay? You'll be able to replace fear and self-doubt with confidence and clarity, overwhelm and indecision with focus-aligned action, emotional baggage with mental freedom and lightness, self-sabotage with consistent progress and success, burnout with balanced growth and renewed energy, and any stuck patterns with momentum and long-term motivation. Okay. So why now? Why should you do it now? Well, the early bird special is $37 and it's up for only a limited time. Really think about how much being stuck has cost you, right? And you know, it's likely a lot more than $37. So it might be time to make a shift now. Okay. Every day you wait, the longer you stay in your old ways. You can gain instant access so you can save time, and all the bonuses and replays are available today only. So yep, start today for only $37. That's the workshop. Some more awesome results and testimonials from it. And I can stick around for a few more minutes and answer any questions that you might have. Does anyone have any questions? Feel free to unmute yourself, or if you prefer, you can put it in the chat, whatever you prefer. Okay, Amanda. Yeah, what questions do you have?
Okay, hey, so this sounds so far very similar to, I don't know if you're familiar with a Recode or if it's kind of the same idea. Everything you've been saying so far is actually very, very similar to a program I'm in right now.
Okay.
But I really like the way that you explained it. It was so much more understandable. I bought it regardless because I still think there's a lot of value in what you're offering. But I am curious if we work with the subconscious mind, we go and we give commands, we use metaphors. Is that the same thing that you guys are doing, maybe in a different way, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I haven't heard of Recode before. Who is that by? I'm just curious.
It's a Magnetic Mind.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've never heard of them. So
Okay.
yeah, great question. And I'm happy that you're going to be attending. So basically so the background behind the type of work that we do is neurolinguistic programming, mental and emotional release, and a bit of hypnosis as well.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. And so I'm going to be in a group setting, right?
Mhm.
There are certain things that we could do together, and some things are more one-to-one. So you're all going to get an experience of many different tools and techniques that you'll have access to. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then in some of the deeper work that we do is very personalized, right? Because we've all got stuff from like who knows when. And so the deeper work that we do together through our rapid alignment intensive and our method is actually what we refer to as a breakthrough session. This is like a full day intensive experience where we are able to go deep into the unconscious and kind of release the stuff from the root, from the core. And that's where you'll all experience transformations at this workshop, because many people have before. And the most impactful transformations obviously come from the more personalized, customized sessions.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you guys work with like family lineage and like address that and things along those lines?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that. Yeah, really good question. So, and Amanda, I'm going to answer some of these quick ones real quick, and I'll get into
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. So yes, the $37 is only for today. So that's the event special to join today. Times are the classes. So they'll be 7 p.m. Eastern time, which is what, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 5 Mountain, 6 Central. So 7 to 8:30 p.m. And then we'll have an extra 30-minute VIP session afterwards. Yep. So 7 to 8:30. And Sana, yes, I'll send a text and an email with all the links and information. I'll do my best to get it out tonight. So I guess I am going to send some emails out tomorrow for the replay and the links. So Diane, to answer your question, just because I want to stay in integrity, technically it's for the 37. It's for till tomorrow because the emails are being sent tomorrow for the replays. So yes, we will have those for you as well. And then going back to your question, Amanda. So in the breakthrough session, when we're doing that 8-hour session together, part of the process, it has been referred to timeline therapy. It is timeline therapy in a sense. The person that I learned this from calls it mental and emotional release. Okay. Now, this process, the reason it works so well, better than anything else that I've ever seen, is because as we're going through the process as a part of the process, it's releasing the major negative emotions, right?
Yeah.
Anger, fear, etc. When we're going through this process, we figure out your timeline. The unconscious mind stores memories in a timeline. And so when we go back in time, we essentially asked your unconscious mind when the very first time is that you felt anger. Was it before, during, or after your birth? When I went through this process myself, I was like, that's weird. And then I said, I just trust my unconscious mind. I said before. And I was like, interesting.
Yeah.
And then I was like, they were like, okay, how many months? 6 months. And I was like, weird. And then I thought about it. I'm like, that makes sense though, because when we're in our mom's and our parents in our mom's belly, right? The energy and the things that they're experiencing, just like the blood that circulates and the nutrients we get, we also absorb that.
Absolutely.
Right. And so as I'm going through the different emotions, I then had one that was genealogical. So in my my family lineage,
Yeah.
and then there are some that are also past lives, and that's where because I hadn't been really exposed to that before, and I was like, where did that come from? Right. So it definitely challenges you a little bit and kind of expands how you see things, because those I think the before birth and then the genealogical, it makes sense because those things are passed down to us.
Yeah.
And so yeah, the point is that we figure out, like I mentioned at the beginning, we get to the root cause, the very first time you ever experience that, even if you can't remember it, but your unconscious mind does, and and help you to release that. Because what happens is when you release from the root, everything else up until now, as you come back to now, is released as well. It's like dominoes.
Right. And
so, yeah, exactly. And so as you go through that experience, we elicit your values before and after. Many times the values are different. There's no conflict. They're all towards. And it's at times it's a little bit challenging to explain. All I know is that afterwards I was like, new person.
Right. Like, so cool. And yeah, and just like you said, it's, you don't know how, and then once you go through it, then you're like, I want to do this for everybody, right?
100%. 100%. Yeah. And I was so resistant to it for so long, right? I was like, no, you just need to know what to do, and you have all the resources you need. Just take action, just push through. Nope. It doesn't work that way.
Yep. Same. Okay. So, okay. One more. Sorry. I didn't mean to hijack the whole thing.
It's okay.
Okay. So during this session, we go through and we're uncovering and things like that, but are we actually learning then to do what you're doing, or you're just helping us through the process of it?
Good question. So no, I'm helping you through the process of it during these sessions in order to, so I do explain the science behind it in a simple way. So I will explain how how the mind works and how the techniques work. I won't be teaching you how to do some of the techniques. Some of them you'll have the tools to be able to use it. A lot of them more NLP and the other advanced tools. I'll be explaining them, but not teaching you. If that is something you are interested in, I'm happy to give you the information of the people I've gotten the training from.
Yeah, I am very much so. I've been very interested in hypnosis, and what I'm doing right now is amazing work, but I actually feel like this can help and kind of, it just does it in a different way that just seems almost easier, I guess. I think it parallels, but yeah, no, I would be very interested if you could send that over.
Yeah, totally. So I just put the company in the chat. That's their training schedule. They've got their in-person workshops year round. That code, it's not an affiliate code. It just gives you 50% off. But they
Okay,
have a 4-day training to learn the skills, $bucks. So
that's crazy.
yeah,
That's so
and
cheap.
it's really good. It's like
That is insane.
really
I want to
good.
try.
Yeah.
That's money I spent, and yeah.
Buy it. I was skeptical at first and I'm like, you know, and then I was like, no, this is actually really good. So
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
yeah, you're welcome, Amanda.
Bye.
Any other questions? Any other questions, anyone? If you're here right now, I'm assuming you're going to be attending. So I'm excited to see you all there. And I appreciate you all so much for being here. I'm just really excited for you all. If you have any questions in the meantime, you should all, once you register, you should all have access to the prior recordings. If you're having trouble with accessing something or you have any questions, I'm here. My team's here. Send me a text message me in the community platform, school, whatever you need. We're here to support you much closer and very soon. All right. Hope you all have a good rest of your evening. Thank you all so much. Good night.